Hey everyone, John Little here with a example of how to apply absorbent ground to your canvas. We're going to be doing an absorbent ground tonight. It's September 20th, 2021. A couple of people have asked, how do I apply the absorbent ground? Now, this is not the only way to do it. It's just the way that I do it. What we're talking about is Golden's absorbent ground, 100% acrylic polymer emulsion ground. What it does, it creates a watercolor type effect or surface for you to use your acrylics on. According to the directions, you have to thin it with at least 20%, with 20% water and apply to a gesso support. That means not over acrylic. It has to go on gesso. So get a canvas, it's been gessoed. I'll give it a quick little sanding. This is a pretty smooth one to start with, so I might not do anything with this. I just want to see if I can get some of these marks off. But then apply this on thin, very thin. Use thin wash for best absorption. And you want to let it dry thoroughly between the coats. Now you can force dry it with hair dryers and fans, which we're going to do. We've got to paint tonight. So what I'm using here is a Protones board. We've used these before, get them from Jerry's Artorama. They seem to be a little bit more durable than the other ones that we've seen in the past. We're going to do that. I usually mix it up in a little cup. I have my little spray. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this. Now, when you open it up, if you look down in there, you're going to see it's kind of yucky. And that's a technical term. I don't like to use technical terms too often, but that's what it is. It's yucky. Where's my palette knife? Oh, I used it last night. I was playing. Hold on, I got another one. We got plenty of them. Just have to figure out where I put it. Where the queen put it. What do you think with all these palette knives? You just pick one, right? Let me just use this guy. All right, there's a little separation here. The first thing you want to do is make sure you mix this up. Just stir it up. About like yay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of this out. Put it right in here. About 2 shovels worth should do it. Then I'm going to put this lid back on it. Now I just use a little spray bottle, a couple of little mists, very light mist. Use my palette knife because you want it to be. It's really thick and pasty. You want it to run. So that's just running a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. Let's give you a side angle on that. It just, see, it's still a little thick. I want it to come off, but it's not runny, but I want it to come off of there a little better than that. So, a quick little mist. Mix it up good. One more, I think we'll do it. They say 20%. How do you know what 20% of this is? You know, I would have to get a scale out. I'd have to weigh it. So I go for just a consistency. We're going to run. There you go. See, it's starting to run off of there pretty good. Now, when you put this on, first thing you want to do is give that a quick sanding. .320 sandpaper. That's the extra fine. All I'm doing is just knocking off anything that's raised. Like I said, these are very, very smooth. Go back to the main table. It'd be nice if I had a view of what I'm doing. Okay. I think I'm still good. I'm going to dampen my brush. This is a Ruby Satin Silver Bright number 12. It's about an inch. Looks like an inch. I'm going to dampen it. Take one of the official imagination cloths and just basically mush it all back out. All I want is just damp. I mean, it's not wet, it's damp. All right. Now, put it on. You don't have to be super, what's the word I'm looking for? Careful is a good word. And this still might be a little thicker than I like. So I might do, which I've done, spray a little bit right on top of the surface. That'll let me move it around a little bit better. The subsequent coats are even harder to put on. And what I mean by harder is it starts grabbing right away because it's already absorbing. You want to have at least 3 coats. Don't have to be perfect with it. Perfect will come on the next coats. You start really smoothing it out. You want to make sure you're smooth, because you're creating a watercolor paper surface on your canvas, right on top of gesso, not on top of an underpainting. This is all done a little bit differently than what we're used to, right? There we go, looking good. Giving you multiple views. Look at that. How we can control the camera right here. I hope I'm in the camera. Guess I have to get yet another monitor so I can figure out when I'm doing these things by myself. Again, just make sure you're smooth. No ridges, no impasto type effects. Next one, I'm going to add a little bit more water. We want it to be a little bit thinner for the next one. The next 2, really. Because like I said, it's going to really grab it. All right. Now just get one looky-loo, as they say. Make sure we're smooth. It appears to be very smooth. Painting from the shoulder, the whole brush. I'm not doing this now. I'm taking the whole arm back and forth. I just want to get a little, make sure I got it as smooth as I can get it for the first coat. I'm going to show you another technique when I do the next canvas. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry. All right, so that's the first coat. Let it dry, put that in water. That, I can probably spray a little bit on it, because we'll add some more to it. And we're just going to cover that. There's another one, just like that, where we're letting this piece dry. All right, we'll be back after these important messages. Hello, and welcome to the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. It can be found at acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com. Are you ready to take your acrylic painting to the next level? Are you tired of all the chit-chat that Ginger and John do during their live YouTube shows? Well, this is the place to come to. You can start off at the very level of just signing up as a pink member for $14.95 a week, and you'll have access to all of the red membership and below lessons. Those lessons include a lot. We have a lot of lessons, anywhere from 1 cookie all the way up to a full box of cookie. We use the cookies as a term of representing the difficulty or the challenge, as the case may be. You can have access to our latest tutorials. Again, at $14.95 for a week trial, You can do this as often as you want. Here are 12 pages of lessons, and there is 2, 4, there are 24 on the page. You have over 300 lessons right here. And included with the lessons, you'll have all the reference materials you need, the traceables, the originals if available, and if we can share them. You have everything you need to get started. When you're ready to step up your membership and you want to take advantage of the personal art coaching, those are available at the red, blue, and purple membership levels. You can upgrade at any time. You can come back. You can downgrade at any time. What you want to be able to do, though, is improve your art, and we highly recommend giving us a try. Try us for a week. Look around, kick the tires, as they say, and see if we can't help you become a better artist. Okay, we're back. It's dried, as you can see. I touched it here early and screwed it up, but be fine. Let's go ahead and apply another coat. Take a brush, bring it out there. Up some more solution. I told you I wanted this one to be a little bit thinner than the last one, because the absorbent ground that's already on there is really going to be grabbing it and taking out all the moisture right away. So I'm going to be a little bit closer to 20%. And that's quite a bit of water. They don't want you to use, you definitely don't want to use it right out of the container. It's way too thick and it's too hard to work with. That's still too thick. More. We got quite a pool in there this time, as compared to the last one I did. I wanted to really come off of the palette knife. See what we're getting now. That's better. I'm going to go just a touch more, I think. You want a little bit more running action. I would not recommend using your brush to mix this. It's because you're going to have dry spots in your brush and thicker stuff, and there we go. That's running better. All right. See how we do. Big old dollop. I'm going to work it over pretty quickly. Back and forth, up and down. And then the final coat that we'll do will probably do even a little bit thinner than this. So it's basically your finishing coat. Oh, we did get a new little thingy today. Let me show you this. A little turntable. Roll it around. I hope I'm still in the view. Let's go to the side angle view. Okay. Again, you're creating a watercolor type effect with your acrylics. So this is the one time that Ginger uses more water with her acrylics than she's actually painting it. Normally she does not do that. She keeps it the oil color effect, oil paint effect. The thicker, and doesn't use water, she just adds more paint. If she needs to get things flowing again, she will add a little piece right there for there. She will add more paint and not water. I'm hoping between these two views you're getting something. Okay, looks like we got this all covered. We'll, not sure what that guy is, but we'll get rid of him too. Okay, and I'm going to dampen my brush and go over the whole thing. I'm not going to wring it out as much. It's going to be wetter. Try to get this to smooth out better. And like I said, the last coat we'll put on will be a thinner yet, just to get the finishing surface. And next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a 12 by 16 canvas, stretch canvas. And we're going to do that a little bit differently, which I've done in the past. So we have some over here. That's already dried. Again, it's a full arm stroke coming down. There's more moisture on them. Because this really dries quickly once you have one coat on there. Because it's already starting to absorb. It's looking pretty good. Keep changing the view on you because I'm not sure exactly what you're seeing. So I don't have a monitor in front of me showing what we're filming. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the fan and let it dry in front of a fan. Really light brush strokes. I mean, it's just going back and forth, smoothing it out. There we go. That's looking good. Cleaner like this one. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to have to readjust the cameras. So before I do that, let me go check my camera. See what we're seeing. We're doing a bigger canvas now. All right, so this is a 12 by 16 canvas. And if you listen, it's not very tight. Rather flimsy. Hasn't been sanded, I just opened it up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to tighten it up. Spray bottle. Just spray in the back of it. This is cotton. It'll shrink. Take a hair dryer. So excuse the noise. Hot. Hot. or like a drum. Now, you see the corners here are slightly little, let's see side view. Oh, we're on side view. See the overhead? I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try to get rid of those. What you're going to do, take your water, take a brush with water, and you go up in that pocket. You can't get there normally. So I'm taking water, clean water, into the corner. Because this is a thicker one. And we'll try to get those to tighten up. Right? By the hair dryer, you can get that to stretch out. Okay, as you can see, that's got a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that because we're not painting on it yet. But that's all you have to do. And you can have a nice tight, just sound like a drum. A drum. Okay. Now, on this particular canvas, I use a 220 paper. If I can find it. Here it is. I use a 220 paper on this because it's a little bit rough for this particular canvas. This is a Dick Blick canvas. They call it the studio grade. And again, lightly going over it. All right. There you go. You can feel it. You can feel if there's any raised parts. Now, this time, we're going to do it differently. So we're going to thin it a little bit, but not quite as much, because we're going to use a credit card to put it on. It's going to go on really, really thin. I've done this a couple times, and it gives you a paper-like finish when you're done. That's a little bit thicker. Side view. Coming off more in a big glob and just hangs there. So that's probably about what I want on this. All right, now, credit card or some kind of plastic card. Quite a bit. You're going to take it off again. You've got time to work with it. You can use this as your brush. I've even done some underpaintings this way. Okay. Here. We're going to make sure you cover the whole surface. And this is first coat. My newest brush. Okay, once I make sure I have everything covered, let's do the final smoothing of it. Good. All right. Okay. Now, take a paper towel. We're going to start taking it off. I'm dipping my card in the water over here just to get all this off of here. Now what I'm going to do, keep it very flat, and you're applying some good pressure on it. And wipe it off. You can see how quickly this gets applied. Now, I got little baby streaks in there, but I believe that will be fine. Do the edges, kind of clean it up. Now, if you worry about these little guys down the middle, do a little bit lighter. No, don't like that. It's already started. You can tell when it's starting to get too thick to do anything with. It starts drying on you. I think that's good for first coat. I think we're looking good. Take a look at it from the side. Okay, the other one should be dry. Let's go get it. We'll put this one in the dryer. This one is not fully dried yet. I'm going to hit it with the hair dryer with heat so we can get this thing dried. Okay, let's take a look here, see if we're dry enough. And it's still a little tacky. I'm going to have to let this dry more before I put this last coat on. So we'll be back after I let it dry for quite a while. We've got 3 hours before show, so I have to apply some heat to it and let it dry. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Give it warm heat. Feels fully dry now. So this time, the final coat, I'd like to use the credit card technique. So you saw how smooth that makes that very final coat, or even beginning coat. But I wanted to show you the brush method. The brush drags a little bit more, meaning that you've got to be, you got to work it. Got to work it a little bit more. So get a little more absorbent ground. That's got a pretty good pull. A little more. Again, I recommend using a palette knife for your mixing, not your brush on this particular substance. Make sure you get it mixed up good, though. And a little bit thinner than that. A little bit. Should do it. Again, we're going to have 3 coats on this. More, better. You know, it gives you more absorbance. But one thick coat is not as good as 3 thin coats. So just keep that in mind. Thinking you're going to save time by, oh, I just put it on thick. There we go. That's looking good. Okay, about that consistency. Okay. All right. Plop some of this on. Again, we'll be using the credit card to move it around. Light brush to start with, just to get it all over the surface. And this is the final coat. All you're trying to do is get a nice smooth final coat on it. And you can see how easily top, down the edge. Okay. Like you're plowing the field with your tractor. All right. Only tractor I get, right? Right. You see how being a little bit thinner, you get a, you don't have as many ridge problems. And you can't overwork it. It's already starting to absorb underneath it. You can see where it's drying spots already because it's absorbed below it. That's why you have to make sure you have enough water on your final coat here. All right, here we go. Paper towel. And then you do the final. Got a couple spots there, but I think we're okay. I think the Queen of Color will be happy with this. How's that looking? Looking pretty darn good. Anything with finger just along the edges. To get all that off of there. Now, if you have any problems with these type of materials, then don't use your fingers. But you gotta keep that in mind. All right, that completes that one. Let's see if the other one's dry. Now you can see right off the bat that you get a better surface with the credit card. I'll put my hands here a little bit. I think this one's dry enough. Let's find out here. I'm gonna hit it with some hot air though. I think it's just a little damp. Let's hit it. Okay, I think we've got that dry enough. Let's add that's about right, I think. Pretty good pool this time. This is the second coat. So that first layer is going to absorb this really quickly. That's why I find the credit card method is faster to get it applied, while it's still workable. Oh, that's not good. I want jet. Well, no, let's do that fine. I think one more little squirt. That's looking good. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. All right. And when it runs on like that, that's what we're looking for. We'll have time to work with this now. It's wet enough. Start plowing the field. Get it all over it. You don't want to add any coloring or any acrylics to this. You've got to keep it just pure absorbent. Any real acrylic you add to it, you're going to lose the effect because it's going to seal it. And that's what your acrylics will be doing if you're actually applying them. A little bit more out there. Even this is still absorbing it pretty darn quick, isn't it? You can see. All right. Finish this baby off. Here you get all the way to the edges. I've tried the same technique with a palette knife. And I suppose if you had a big enough one, it would do good. Like if you get those wallpaper mud knives, it probably work. I haven't tried one of those. I would do that on a bigger canvas for sure. So this is really grabbing it fast. Interesting stuff. You can even grab the palette knife now. All right. One final coat all the way around. And I'll start smoothing her out. A little bit lighter pressure as you're going along. And you can see where that's drying. Okay, grab the paper towel. Just that much, I could bring it back and use that. Okay. Really light pressure now. Now, depending upon the effect you can go for, depends on how smooth you want to try to make this. Got a couple spots that are dragging, but I think we're going to let it go. I'm going to try something. I've never tried this before. I'm going to put a little mist over it. And just see what that does. This was coat 2, so coat 3 would solve any problems with that caused. We're going to let this dry more natural because we don't need this yet. We have another painting in mind for this. And it can just dry naturally, so we'll let it do that. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Again, the third coat's going to go on the same way that I just applied this one. And just get it as smooth as you can. That's it. Let it fully dry. If you can do this 24 hours, 48 hours in advance, do a bunch of canvases so they're ready to go. That's the better way to do it. But Queen of Color says, oh, I want to do this. We have a show tonight. This is what you get. Thanks, everybody. If you have any questions, put them down below. Comment, let us know. Thank you.